president of product for Block.one. He started his technology career 28 years ago at Oracle Corporation. He has architected data systems for firms like Sony, Blue Cross, and IBM. But 15 years ago, he became fascinated with human architecture, team dynamics, and the evolution of cooperation. He also ran for governor of his home state of Oregon on the Libertarian Party ticket. It was this combination of technical knowledge and leadership skills that led Block.one to invite Thomas to join them. He's currently focused on architecting EOS.io's governance system. Please welcome Mr. Thomas Cox.
Appreciate the chance to be here in New York and to be paid to come here. But people have to pay to be here. I got paid. That's awesome. And it's been 20 years since I walked the streets of Manhattan, and I love what you've done with the place. It's just like before, only more so. I want to tell you about EOS.io, the software. I want to tell you a little bit about Block.one, the organization. But first, I need, under penalty of you don't want to know what from our lawyers, I must read this aloud to you. And I'm not making that up. EOS.io software will be a free product and development platform that all developers can use to develop, run, and govern decentralized applications. This presentation and any comments made at the event does not constitute an offer to sell or the solicitation of an offer to purchase the EOS ERC20 compatible tokens, open quote, EOS tokens, close quote, close paren, comma, or any recommendation of the EOS tokens, nor is this presentation an offer, solicitation, or sale of the EOS tokens in any jurisdiction or to any person in which or to whom such offer, solicitation, or sale would be unlawful or is prohibited. No information regarding the EOS tokens or the ongoing EOS token distribution will be provided or discussed at this event. Blockchain. Blockchains were introduced to the world as we know them, into the popular imagination by Bitcoin in 2008. The software existed, all the components existed for over a decade before that, but it was only with Bitcoin that cryptography and the trustless environment were combined to create a digital currency that could be moved but couldn't be duplicated. Blockchain makes that possible, but blockchain makes so much more possible. With Ethereum, not only could balances be stored on a blockchain, but actual units of code could be put on a blockchain, be run by a Turing-complete by a state machine, giving you a world computer and the ability to run transactions anywhere. What I want to see, what you want to see, is where this line is going. What is the high-performance smart business of the future going to look like, and how are we going to build it? When I say high-performance, what do I mean? Currencies and debt notes are about 20,000 transactions per second worldwide today. Social media, Facebook likes are about 52,000 people hitting that like button per second worldwide. Exchanges and prediction markets, 100,000 transactions a second worldwide. Bitcoin, 3 transactions per second worldwide. Ethereum, 30. So we have a ways to go. Here's what you may not know if Bitcoin is your universe. In 2013, the first decentralized exchange was created, which introduced a stable proof of stake. And in 2014, delegated proof of stake was invented, which provides essentially the same security as the proof of work that you're familiar with for Bitcoin, but in a much more ecologically friendly way. BitShares, and then BitShares 2.0, the introduction of the graphene technology, pushed blockchain to 100,000 transactions per second. And the second BitShares iteration also included a self-funding sustainable development environment. Because the worst thing about the blockchain has been, one of the worst, has been we create this amazing thing and it's immutable and then the money's spent, but there's this blockchain running, so who's going to pay to keep it up? Well, here you pay. Now you should pay. Oh no, I'm not using it enough. You should pay. And so no one pays. So these amazing blockchains out there that no one's supporting. That gets fixed here by a self-sustaining funding mechanism. And we will see moving forward through other platforms. And then Steam was introduced in 2016, which is essentially Reddit or social media on a blockchain, where instead of what Facebook sells, everything Facebook's free. You're not paying for Facebook. They're selling you. They're selling us. They're selling our data. They're selling knowledge about us. What if you had a social media platform that paid you to create content? Steam does that. It also includes fairly advanced features like free user transactions. You don't want to be paying a microtransaction to post to your social media, so you don't. Account recovery. If you are hacked or lose your password, you can get your account back. If you were to look at it, this is slightly out of date, but the point is the same. If you were to look at total blockchain activity worldwide, you would find that BitShares plus Steam, both created by Dan Larimer, commit more transactions per second than Ethereum and Bitcoin combined, at a tiny fraction of the hardware resource. Bitcoin and Ethereum are at their limit. They can't go any faster. We have lots of headroom on these other designs. And the person who architected those systems is our architect for EOS. Woo! Yeah. Woo! I know who my people are now. Now, a smart business is very hard to build because you've got your hardware at the bottom, you've got the thing you want users to interact with, the application at the top, and a great big empty space in the middle that you're going to have to fill if no one else has filled it for you. You essentially need an operating system. What do decentralized applications need in this space? Things like, well, web application, millions of users, account names, free app for users, no purchase necessary, responsiveness, upgradability, the ability to recover your account, thousands of transactions per second minimum, and bug recovery. This isn't too much to ask. These should be table stakes for any serious commercial application. And we provide this. The EOS operating system, this decentralized system, provides everything in the middle to allow you to create that application on top. So we provide the database structures, the account permission, the scheduling, the authentication, the interactive communication, everything you would need short of your logic that your users want so that you can be productive as a developer. It's the first blockchain operating system. The major points to take away is that we are highly scalable, highly flexible, extremely usable, and near and dear to my heart, we have governance. What does that mean? I want you to visualize a spectrum. The law of the jungle is the Bitcoin universe. You are fighting to make blocks. If I make the block, you don't. The code is the law. If the code runs a certain way, you didn't expect it, too bad. Because it's immutable, it is what it is. On the other end of the spectrum, you've got IBM Hyperledger, Fabric, and all the other portions of that enormous ecosystem, which exist in walled gardens. It's like the king's castle. So you can either be in the jungle or you can be in the king's castle. The king makes the rules. They decide who makes the blocks. They hand out the credentials. And it's centralization by another name. Now, the banks love it because they don't trust each other. But they do want to be in a walled garden with each other. But what about the middle? Where is the Swiss village of property owners who want to band together to create a better civilization? EOS provides that. Halfway between the unpermissioned public and the permissioned private is permissioned public blockchain for governance. What's that going to look like? It looks like a token that gives you access, but that you do not use up. When you buy a token on this kind of a platform, you hold it, and it gives you the property right to bandwidth, storage, voting. You keep it as long as you want to keep it. It doesn't get burned up or used up. It does decay slightly in value because of inflation, which I'll cover in just a second, but it's yours. And that means that no one can spam this any more than they have the tokens to justify the bandwidth. Now, on some of these other blockchains you may be familiar with, if there is a time-sensitive aspect of an ICO that closes in an hour, an escrow account where you've got a time window in which to challenge it, if someone floods the network with bogus transactions, they can lock you out. And then you can't participate in the ICO, you can't register your concern, you can't perform your transaction in that environment. But in this environment, you have the property right to a proportion of the bandwidth equal to your stake. You cannot be spammed or locked out. That is huge. You also use the tokens to nominate the block producers. They aren't fighting for it. They're lining up to be good citizens. They essentially want to be like a very good electrical utility, where you go in, you flip on the light switch, and the lights come on. You go to your blockchain, the blocks just happen. And they fight to be the high-quality, low-cost producer. And they take turns round robin. And we have, I mentioned, 5% annual inflation maximum that is used in 3 ways. Number 1, they can be destroyed or not issued in the first place to maintain the value of the token. Number 2, they can be used to pay the block producers. So everyone essentially is paying an equal tax, if you will, through the inflation to pay for, number 1, block production, and number 2, persistence improvement. This is a known system. It works well. It's been working very well for BitShares and Steemit. Now, the system's architecture can be seen as existing in 5 layers. I'll walk you through just a few highlights of each of the 5 layers now. And the first is user experience. If your users are having a bad experience, you as a creator of decentralized applications will not have happy users, and they won't use you. They'll go use some centralized platform instead. What does that mean? Well, things like human-readable account names. Things like hacked account recovery and lost password recovery. Can you imagine trying to explain Ethereum key management to your grandmother over the phone? It's horrible. We don't want you to be in that condition. We don't want that person calling up you as tech support, trying to get you to sort them through, oh, I lost my Ethereum key, what do I do? Well, you kiss that goodbye. That's what you do.